Erik, welcome to our Lights at Wholesale headquarters. You're giving a training next week here in the same conference room on sales, specifically door to door. For anyone who maybe doesn't know much about you, can you just give us a quick recap on yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been selling door to door since I was 21 years old. Started in the industry selling little restaurant cards. Did that for quite a while. I was then, I transferred over into the door to door industry in the security alarm systems. And so really enjoyed that different kind of sell door to door. And so I started my Christmas light company back in 2016 as just more of a side hustle. We did a little bit here and there, just put on a couple of accounts just to make some extra money, right? Like most of us really do when we first start. And in 2023, I decided to turn this into a full business, and I put on 40 accounts that first year. I just started really late, started right around October-ish, and just did my typical Facebook marketing ads. That's really what I did. So the next year in 2024, I decided to step it up a little bit. I took all my door-to-door experience that I had and implemented it into Christmas lights. And believe it or not, I started selling Christmas lights in May of last year. So as you can imagine, a lot of people's reactions were a little bit different when I showed up to the house in May selling Christmas lights. So, but I really enjoy it. I started doing those kind of things and really was able to scale the business from there. So worked out really nice.
Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be covering in your training, because maybe not only for things that a business owner is going to want to know if they're just going to go sell one man, but maybe about like the teams and how to build how to build a team.
Yeah, great question. So when I first started last year, I started on my own at first. I wanted to go out and knock for about a month and a half on my own. I wanted to just test it out, see how it would go. I did really well. And so, yeah, it was kind of a breath of fresh air, right? So you're used to selling pest control. I was used to selling security. And you're right. There are a lot of companies out there that are a little unethical and things like that. And so we do things completely different. I mean, we sell Christmas lights. So it's not rocket science, right? And so we're selling Christmas lights. We're selling the magic to families. And that's what we really are doing now. And so for someone that's just starting out, I always say, get your feet wet and do it yourself, because if you're going to build a team, you're going to want to be able to understand where they're coming from, right? So if you're out in the field and you've gone through some of your objections, most likely your reps are going to do the same thing. So you're going to want to be able to help them overcome those specifics when those are brought up from your team. So you want to learn those kind of things when you're first starting out. And we'll go through a lot of those things when I'm teaching here on how to approach people on the door, what words to say, how to transition through the sell itself, and then how to build teams as well. So that is a big thing that we did last year. So what I'm teaching is just stuff that we did ourselves that was successful, and what worked. And so that's what I'll be bringing to these meetings.
I think we have a lot of people who right now, like Christmas light installers, who are really nervous about the economy and, oh, should I be starting a Christmas light business, or what's going to happen to my business this year? Am I going to lose all my clients? In your experience, have you ever felt like the economy has been a factor on whether or not you've been able to make sales, or, should people be worried about that? Should people still be signing up for this training, considering the little bit of turbulence we're having right now?
I get it when people are thinking that kind of way, and yeah, there are some situations that a lot of us would feel that. Not everybody's going to be looking for Christmas lights, so we get to have the privilege of going out and finding them ourselves. Some people don't let it affect them at all. Others will think about that kind of thing. The thing that's nice about door to door is we're not waiting for people to call us. We're literally going to get them. And so I've never really had an issue door to door, even when economies have been up and down. I've really never had an issue with it. Well, I have knocked more doors, maybe a few more doors than I normally would, but so what? I'm still at the end of the year. Most of my projections or most of my target goals that I had, I was still able to meet because I worked just as hard that year that I did the year before. It's nice because we are in control of that situation, right? We're not relying on somebody else to bring that situation to us. And so that's what's nice about going door to door is you don't have to worry about things like this. There are still people out there that will take advantage of your service, and you just have to go find them. That's the big thing. So absolutely come to the training because that's what we're going to talk about. Even last year when things were a little bit slower for a lot of people, we were able to actually take advantage and go in and sell products and services. And we sold at a higher margin than most of our competitors, and we were still outdoing them in those areas. And so, yeah, it can be done. Absolutely.
Cool. So it sounds like it's more of if people are maybe not, are we worried about performing well or their business growing, it's probably a mental block
for sure.
rather than, that being there a physical barrier keeping someone from growing this year.
Yeah, no question. 100% mindset. No question about it.
What types of people do you think will really benefit the most from this training? Obviously, someone who wants to grow or has an open mindset, but does like personality traits, like maybe qualify someone or not qualify someone from door-to-door sales?
And that is a great question. I hear that one a lot. So when I first started in door-to-door sales, I was extremely shy. I didn't like to talk to people. I was the type of personality that would talk to you if you talked to me first. That's who I was. I wasn't very outgoing at first, especially if I didn't know you. After I got to know you, then it was different, right? But going and knocking on somebody's door, I was a nervous wreck. I did not like it. It wasn't something I was comfortable with. But the best part about this is it helps you grow as an individual, right? And so you start to learn how to talk to people, different types of personalities. So to answer your question, so I see a lot of people that will come in that will be super shy and do really well. And I've seen a lot of people that have come in that are super excited and do really well. I think it just comes down to those types of personalities are able to talk to their types of personalities that are out there. And you can grow and evolve into a better salesperson as you're getting going. And you can identify the different types of personalities that are out there. And so I love talking to people. The one thing that when I interview people is that my biggest one is, what do you think about Christmas? How do you like Christmas? And if they love Christmas, that's one of my biggest key factors because I can teach them the rest.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but yeah, you just got to enjoy it. You got to love what you do and have a great time with it. And that emotion will just feed into the customer's emotions too. And they'll get that as you're talking to them. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I think that I could get way more excited about selling Christmas lights door to door than, just squishing bugs, basically.
Right.
So
exactly.
It seems like emotionally, at least for a customer, way easier for them, something that they can easily get behind and get excited about when a rep shows up to their home.
And it's different, right? We're all used to seeing the pest control guys, the solar guys, the security guys. That's what we see nationwide all over the place. So when you show up with a Santa hat, it almost throws people off. I mean, the look on their faces are almost like, oh, wait, that's not what I was expecting at all. And so, and I've had a lot of people start the conversation with me just because of the way I was dressed. And so I don't have to be the one to break the ice. They do it for me. So yeah, I love it. I really like Christmas. And so it's an easier sell for me. So.
Cool. Yeah. One thing, I've only been with Lights at Wholesale since October. So almost about 6 months. And I think when I first started working here and I had just come from, selling pest control, like inside sales, one of the first questions that really came into my mind is why does it seem like there's so few people doing door-to-door Christmas lights? Like, it seems like the perfect way to sell this product, similar to how security and pest is sold or solar, but I couldn't online, at least, the amount of conversation happening around it or the number of videos and posts you see about door-to-door Christmas light sales seems to be almost
slim to none.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that this is a really cool thing for this industry. If people start treating this, the same way they do these other really successful door-to-door industries, I think that people will see really, really great success.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And it's, you're right. When I started doing it, I thought, well, I mean, I've never seen someone knock on my door for Christmas lights before. And I love it when people knock on my door because I mean, it's fun to watch them. But you know, when I started doing it, it really was a breath of fresh air for me because I've, you know, I haven't run into people super mean with me on the door. You know, when in security, I'd get chewed out constantly. In Christmas lights, it's completely different. People like to talk about their memories and their experiences that they had as a child and growing up, some of their traditions. It's an easier conversation to have than, hey, what kind of bugs do you have in your front yard? You know what I mean? And so people are a lot more open to those kind of things. And so and when you start getting them to talk about their traditions, they will sell it themselves. You were just there to give them some information, and that's it. And so I really enjoy watching their reactions too. And you can go through and you start talking about the different opportunities and the different services and products that you have, and it just lights up their faces. And it really is. It's so much fun because they just have a good time with you just as much as you are with them. So yeah, it's fun to watch their reactions and completely different realm. That's for
Cool.
sure. Yeah.
Cool. Well, one thing and tell me if I'm right or wrong, but, and I haven't seen your training yet, but if I think about myself, if I was starting day 0 to start a Christmas light business and I didn't have the money for product or, like paid ads, you know, digital ads or physical ads, and I was trying to drum up some business, you know, we're in the middle of April right now. My first thoughts would be, how can I get some customers? And, you know, is there a way that people who have no money right now, um, other than maybe just, you know, a poloed shirt and maybe to print out a sheet of paper with a service explaining,
Yeah.
you know, the Christmas lights, can someone start selling product, or service right now in April? I mean, you said you were selling in May, but
Correct.
I mean, is this something someone without any capital could start and then, you know, start
Work
to
your way
rake in the
into it.
dough and then find, you know, pay for their product later on in the season?
Oh, absolutely. That's the best part about selling door to door, especially in May, right? I'm not putting up any of these lights right now. No one's going to have me put their Christmas lights up in May, but I can certainly sign them up in May. And so the nice thing about that, depending on what you decide as an owner, most people will collect 50% deposit when they're starting, right? That covers all your costs and all your fees and your product and things like that when you're going. And so you don't have to really worry about it until you bring in the product. So you can go out and literally sell 50, 60, 70, 80 new customers, get the capital from those deposits that you're getting, then turn around and buy your product that you need, have it in here in time to actually get them installed. When I started, we call them slicks. They're literally a laminated picture with
Mhm.
our services on one side, our packages on one side, and our most popular color schemes on the other. That's what it was. I literally handed them a laminated piece of paper that had our products on it, and I had a Santa's Magical Lights shirt on. That's what I wore, and I wore a Santa hat and some lights. And I mean, literally, the shirt, the hat, the lights, and the slick was probably under $50 total for all of it. And so you don't have to get crazy. You don't have to go out and buy a ton of product right out the gate. You can literally start from scratch right here and then work your way up. And then, you know, come July, you'll have some ideas of where you're going to go by the time the season starts. So then you have some money to buy product and get going.
And
Absolutely.
and I imagine that all the principles you're going to share in your training not only apply to seasonal Christmas lights, but also to permanent lighting. Permanent lighting is a little bit bigger investment, or maybe takes a little more knowledge. Yeah, is that something you're going to be
For
covering?
sure. So it's not just going to be permanent lighting or seasonal lighting too. I mean, it can work in all aspects of your businesses. I mean, I use the same principles in security. I just transferred it over to the Christmas light side. Permanent lights are going to be the same way. It's just a different product and service. And so I'll be going through on how to create pitches and how it will work best for you and how to create package points and upsells and things like that that will help you increase your ticket. But yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily just for this industry. It can be for if you own a power washing company or a window washing company. After that, you can apply the same principles and do those things door to door just as well as you can with Christmas lights. And so, yeah, I'll teach you the basics and teach you how to mold it into your own personal door approach and your own personal way of promoting your services with your clients.
For someone who's maybe on the fence about signing up for this training, because obviously, it costs money to come to training. What would you say to someone who's on the fence? They're not sure if maybe they're going to get the value for what they're going to spend.
Right. So that's a great question. So I always look at the investment versus the reward, right? The money that it's going to cost to come to the training is very minimal compared to what the reward is going to be. Depending on your ticket value, it can be hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can make off of your one investment coming here, just learning some basic principles to get you through that phase of this investment. And so I think if someone was going to come and use, I think they should take whatever money they can get to come here and learn how to do this. And we'll show them at least some basic principles to get them going so they can start working on these things to get perfected at this job. The bottom line at the end of the day is just being persistent and just keep going and learning how to do this thing. And you can do whatever you want. The investment part of it is just to help you get better quicker, not to stumble over the things that I did when I first started. There's a lot of things that I did that was completely wrong when I first started in the door-to-door industry. And I wish I would have had somebody to teach me those things so I could have skipped all of that time and just went straight forward into being successful. And that's what this class will do.
One of the things I remember from my first summer selling, the company I sold for offered like weekly trainings throughout the winter leading up to the beginning of May when we all got done with school and we drove across the country. And it did seem like, the guys, and some of them were just my really good friends, that they maybe weren't all in, during the kind of the off season, or maybe they, didn't come to trainings, or they thought they just, they weren't worried about a learning curve at all.
Yeah.
It seems like they kind of wasted valuable time stumbling through things on the doors that they could have easily overcome in training.
No question about it. Yeah. I mean, it's happened I've seen it happen to multiple people go through the same thing. I'll get that when I get out there. I'll learn how to do that when I get there. I never know what I'm going to run into until I knock into a door. Well, let me throw this out at you. I've ran into about every objection on the door. So I can teach you some of those objections, the most common objections that we hear in the lighting industry. I can go through that with you while we're here going through that in training. And so we're going to help you skip and advance past all those bumps and bruises that most people will just forget to do or they don't want to do. If you don't want to do it and you're not going to invest the time and energy into it, you're going to get the same results, right? It's the same way if you're investing in your future, you're going to get better results. And so you're here to learn. That's what we're here to provide, is a teaching, a course to help you get better. If that's not what you want to do, then this class isn't for you, right? And so people that come to these kind of classes want to be successful. They don't want to go through all the headaches of all the other stuff that people have fallen and beaten themselves up on. They want to learn how to get past that quicker. And so that's what we're here for, both of us. You guys are helping us bring these kind of trainings with your Invisalights, and I'm helping people do it in the door-to-door side. So yeah, it's the same kind of thing.
Last question. Is there anything, that somebody should do or could do right now before they come to training to prepare themselves a little bit better so that they're maybe, half step ahead on, just being ready to be taught?
A lot of things that I will tell people, a lot of people get into their personal mindsets and they want to think that they know everything or they don't know enough. The big thing that I would tell people is just to be open-minded and to be able to take the information that we're going to give them and take action, right? So if I teach you how to do a basic door approach, I want you to try to use that basic door approach instead of trying to reinvent the wheel from day one. So be open to learning, and come here with the expectations of knowing that if I'm going to invest this kind of money, I better go out and at least do it, right? And so I think if people are going to come to this, they need to take this serious because it is an investment in their time and their money. And so we want to make sure that we're giving them the value that they're spending on this. And so just come with an open mind. I'm going to teach you the basics. I'm going to show you what I did that was successful last year. You can mold that into your own personality, your own company, and make that better for you guys. But we're going to help you get better as a company. So this is just another source of marketing for you guys. A lot of you guys will do signs and stuff like this. This will be another option that you can help add more revenue to your company.
On that note of role playing and practicing, some of that I remember being a little bit uncomfortable
Sure.
at times. And I was always told like there's no comfort in the growth zone and there's no growth in the comfort zone. So can people expect to, at training, go through some of those bumps of, we're going to role play, we're going to figure this out. It's going to be a little uncomfortable.
Yes,
So
absolutely. And so I know there's a lot of people that don't like to get up in front of the whole class. They don't want to be the person that all the eyes are on them. We do a lot of role playing, but we do them class involved, right? We don't make you come up and do that unless you volunteer. But there are a lot of things that we're going to help you get better at. And keep in mind, this is not something that we're here to make fun of you with. We're here to help you get better at it. So when you get on the doors, you already know how to overcome these specific items, these specific objections. We're not here to make fun of anybody. We're here to help them grow and scale their business. And that's what our job is to help them do. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Eric. It sounds like this is going to be a very well-rounded training and something that kind of seems like a no-brainer for anyone who would like to scale their business, even in these times of, what we'll call economic uncertainty, but
Sure.
and we'll all work past those together. So
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
yeah, of course, we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, sir.